Sinners seems to be one of those films that divides audiences, so I wonder how good or bad is it? Kicking off with the acting, how in heavens or hell did Michael B. Jordan get Oscar for Best Actor? Was this virtue signalling from the Academy, or were they actually impressed with his playing two different roles? I mean, an actor that can play two different people. Register me amazed. Nicolas Cage did a much better job of twin acting in Adaptation, for which he only got an Oscar nomination, not to mention Jeremy Irons in Dead Ringers or Bette Davis in Dead Ringer, that's Ringer singular, neither of which even got nominated. This was a scandalously overrated performance for me, or is that two performances? Jordan scowling his way through at least half of it. I thought he was outacted by most of those around him, including Miles Canton as Preacher Boy and Delroy Lindo. I just didn't get that much differentiation between the two twins, apart from the fact they dressed differently and had different gold teeth. Talking of teeth, check out some of the worst tooth acting I have ever seen, or should that be heard.
Well, it all worked out. Then you going to kill Annie.
It sounds like he's just wearing plastic teeth, which presumably he is.
Well, it all worked out. Then you going to kill Annie.
And check out that fight scene at the end. I couldn't tell who was who, and even worse, I didn't really care. Now, that's not just an acting failure, nor an action sequence failure. That's plain bad characterisation. Apart from the moment when he's so shaken near the end he can't roll his cigarette, apart from that moment, I didn't actually care about our main hero, Smoke, or was that Stack? Well, either of them to be honest, and that's a big problem. I did like the music and the dancing, which was mostly very good. Some people objected to seeing modern music and dancers in the mid-film sequence. Nah, get over yourselves. The story explicitly states music has a special power to draw spirits out from the
past and the future.
Yeah, there you go. Seeing black music's heritage and lineage represented on screen was powerful and well done and worked with the overall story. Although, if I'm honest, the ballet dancer was a little bit OTT. Oh, and that Chinese dancer, was he there for the chows? Anyhow, all music has a cultural history, and appreciating that history harms nobody. You understand, for example, something about how the blues evolved, when characters tell a horrible story and then sing straight after. A good scene, another tick from me. Music was well done throughout the film, and dance mostly. I wasn't so keen on that final music sequence. Lots of wide shots that made it feel like a TV dance number. Was it supposed to be why dancing is uncool? Anyhow, it felt flaccid and dance studio-like. Weak, but not weak enough for a bad mark. I did like the Red Eyes touch. Great in the credit sequence and well used in the film generally. In fact, it wasn't just red eyes, it was the yellowish ones the new vampires had as well. Indeed, I'd praise the design generally. The film looked great, particularly during the first hour. Great cinematography, locations, design and detail. I didn't like the way Smoke, or was that Stack? I didn't like the way he shot the kid in the knee near the start. That would shatter the whole knee and turn the poor kid into a cripple for the rest of his life. And yet it's treated light-heartedly, like the shot in the backside his mate gets. I hate gratuitous violence. Violence for which there is no consequence. Violence always has consequences. Using it flippantly to make characters look interesting or cool is unforgivable. Sorry. I also hate gratuitous love. Example, the scene between Preacher Boy and his mum. So corny. I guarantee you every mum in the universe washing up will get angry when you toss water on them, unless you're in a cheesy Hollywood movie. Now, there may be some pacing issues with the film, which I'll come to in a bit, but the detail cutting, the fine cutting, was excellent. I'm thinking especially of the flash cuts we get with Preacher Boy near the start. Getting those to work can be tricky, as you need both contrast and similarity between each shot, and these ones worked really well.
And show them the way.
There's also a few really effective creepy cuts. It's a well-made film, no doubt. I also enjoyed scenes involving vampires trying to gain entry. Good vampire lore, and good to see their power being restricted. It adds to the intrigue and ratchets up the tension. So, a scene like Cornbread trying to get in is very effective. It brings unease and humour in balance, which is far more rewarding than just watching people having their faces blown off. Apart from Cornbread, who proceeds to have his face blown off. But that works as an action release after all the gain in tension. However, I did not like at all how the vampires were allowed in by Mrs. Chow.
Come on in, you mother...
Which felt like a dumb move to me. Look, I'm no vampire expert, but I'm not sure how she thought she was protecting her daughter by letting lots of monsters in to come and slaughter them all. I mean, you put your faith in a character, you think they're pretty smart, then they go and do something so stupid, you can't help feeling the film didn't actually care about its characters, but wanted an excuse to ramp up the action. All the tension of vampires being let in or not is blown, and the sudden violence that erupts all feels rather shambolic, even a bit silly. Scary films always face an interesting trade-off between tension and action, but this time it feels like we've broken into action for no real reason. Worse still, the film immediately tries to reassert tension by having the vampires suddenly run off, even though they're already inside the building and have killed off most of the people.
Let's go.
Is the idea that they're so upset by Annie's death that they all get up and run away? What silly plotting and pacing. Talking of which, I hated the clan stuff at the end. Did I say the end? We'll get to that. But anyway, I thought the conclusion was killing our main vampire, but instead we get a totally unnecessary and redundant shootout between Smoke, or is that Stack, and the clan boys. Unnecessary and badly realised. My god, just approaching all those men hiding behind the cars is silly. The film suddenly turns into a bad video game. And then going to the Tommy gun. The gangster reference is not cool, it's tired and cringe. The bad is definitely loaded into the end of this film, or should I say ends plural. I mean, I really enjoyed killing our vampire. Indeed, Remick our vampire was done well throughout. He has charisma and oomph and those nasty red eyes. I even like those Nosferatu fingers he develops near the end, and that Lord's Prayer sequence works very well.
Thy will be done.
Indeed, I'd much rather be with the vampire and Preacher Boy in the water than cross-cutting to that hackneyed fight between the twins, a fight I really didn't care about. The vampire has an effective death, and that should be the end. Instead, we get the clan boys, and then, how about our extra ending? I mean, I'm more than happy to have a post-credits scene, but boy, does this one go on, and on, and on. Yes, mate, you got time for one more song. Feels like we're in Lord of the Rings Return of the King territory for a film that just refuses to stop. And I haven't quite finished on the negatives there. Taking a step back, I thought the racial overtones were overplayed. It was fine having the vampires white and the good guys black at the start. This is subtext, you know, white vampires sucking the life out of black culture. But once Hayley Stanfield, the white woman allowed into the black community, once she gets turned and then becomes the first to turn someone who's black, i.e. Smoke, or was that Stack? Anyway, that really oversells the racial subtext. In fact, it turns it into text. And when subtext becomes text, you lose subtlety and effectiveness. You're not finding something out, you're not feeling it, you're just being told it. So, some good stuff in there, no doubt. Sinners is not a bad film by any means, but the bad, for me, slightly outweighs the good, especially by the end. I may have gone into this with expectations too high, but the overwhelming feeling I came out with is the film is overrated. The setup might be a little slow, but it's interesting. But once we get into all the mayhem and death, I feel like I've seen it all before, whether in Rio Bravo, or Night of the Living Dead, or The Thing, or The Evil Dead, or Dusk Till Dawn. There's nothing surprising here. What is surprising is how well Sinners did at the box office and Oscars. I might even go as far as to say, or rant, that the film's success is an indictment of how low our standards have become over the last couple of decades. How our desire for what a good film should be may sometimes outweigh actual quality or originality. But I myself am a poor sinner. What do I know?
I'd rather laugh with the sinners than cry with the saints. The sinners are much more fun.